right, YouTube. We got the man Jimmy High Roller. See what he talking about.
Last night in a matchup against the Jazz, the 15-1 OKC Thunder found themselves in a tough spot, facing a deficit halfway through the third quarter. One of just a few times they've trailed in the third all season, getting out-rebounded, out-hustled, back against the wall, and looking to take just their second loss of the season. With 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the quarter, Keyonte George hit these two free throws, giving the Jazz a 7-point lead. Now, remember that, down 7, with 7 minutes left in the third. It wasn't until a minute and a half later when Lu Dort hit this jumper to give the Thunder their first lead of the quarter and opened up the floodgates on the Jazz.
5 minutes, just over 5 to play in the third. SGA step back 3.
That bomb ball. Officials will let him go.
Williams across court to Caruso. Drives and kicks. Williams for 3.
Adjustments. I was talking about it.
And this is just going to be a quick run from Caruso. To go to the hot hand. Someone's going to take a jump. And in. Wow.
Bruh. These niggas.
To go to the hot hand. Someone's going to take a jump. And in. Wow.
What a
By the end of the third, just 7 minutes later, the Thunder went from 7 points down to a 22-point lead. A 29-point swing to finish out the quarter. The Jazz were outplaying the Thunder for nearly 3 quarters and then got blown out in the blink of an eye. The Oklahoma City Thunder aren't just a good team. They are one of the best teams in modern NBA history. Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. With the
Jimmy High Roller finna hype these niggas
New
up.
Orleans team game against the Pelicans, the OKC Thunder completely blitzed a struggling New Orleans team, getting out to a 25-point lead in the first quarter. 49 points in total, a new franchise record. The rest of the game wasn't much different. The Thunder making quick work of the Pelicans in the same fashion they have just about every other team they faced this season.
Dort again. Give me a break. Typical. Setting the pick for the mid-range man. It'll be Dort instead. That's wide open. You're not covering him. And Dort again. Shares it. That's the right way. Yeah, that's the shoot. They play the right way. Isaiah Joe. Filters Alexander with Dort. Extra pass. Yeah, they move the basketball. There's no question. And typical. Timeout help. Mitchell trying to get there. Derek Queen helped out. You help, they burn you. Isaiah Joe, clean look. What else is new?
What else is
They're
new?
going to get a last look. It'll be Mitchell, and he's going to get it like everything else.
These Pelicans announcers right here are some of the best announcers besides like the Hornets and the Warriors ones. If you know, you know. Bro, so real. So real. If you watching them niggas hoop, bro, so real, bro. It's like, oh, okay, so now they can hit they just hit everything. Everything.
It'll be Mitchell, and he's going to get it like everything else.
Like everything.
By the end of the third quarter, the game was essentially wrapped up. The Thunder winning by 17 without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing a single minute in the fourth. Shai also didn't play in the fourth quarter in the game before this. The Thunder up by so much, they just didn't need him. He also didn't play in the fourth in their previous game against the Lakers, or the game before that against the Warriors. He did play a handful of minutes in the fourth in the game before that one, and then sat the entire fourth in the game before that. In fact, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the reigning MVP, didn't play a single fourth quarter minute in 10 of the Thunder's last 15 games. OKC's so dominant this season that they are eviscerating teams without the assistance of their MVP favorite to close out games. And this has been the story of the Thunder so far in the early NBA season. A 16-1 record through their first 17 games. Half of those games ending in a blowout. Their one loss of the season proudly coming at the hands of my Blazers. But coming off of what proved to be one of the most dominant seasons in NBA history, the Thunder have doubled back and found ways to get even better, with a gap on the rest of the league about as big as any team has ever had. Through their first 17 games, OKC has beaten their opponents by an average of 16.5 points per game. A margin of victory that not only leads the NBA this season, it is the largest margin of victory through 17 games in the history of the NBA. It's better than Jordan's Bulls, better than the 73-win Warriors, better than they were last season. the way they achieved this mind-boggling margin just as impressive as the margin itself. Because a lot of these games
Won't
are
be better than the
effectively over
73-9
by the
Warriors.
end of the third quarter. Against the Hornets, they were up by 17 going into the fourth, up by 36 against the Lakers going into the fourth. They had a 35-point lead against the Warriors after 3, 22.
Hey, man. Steph Curry's first game back, bro. Relax. When we see the Thunder again, bro, it's gonna be different.
2-point lead on the Jazz, up 26 on the Pelicans after 3, up 18 on the Mavericks, up 19 on the Hawks. In fact, the largest season average point differential in NBA history was set last season by none other than the Thunder, beating teams by an average of 12.8 points per game. So far this season, the Thunder's average point differential is over 14 points after just 3 quarters. They are beating teams by a record-setting
14
margin
points in
before the
3
fourth quarter
quarters.
even begins.
Okay, that's insane.
They're not stat padding, they're not running up the score, they're actually taking their foot off the gas almost every night. And this is one of many reasons why their hot start to the season has been so convincing. It's not just that they're winning, it's how early and decisively they're winning. The foundation of their extraordinary start, not just in the talent of their roster, but the depth of talent on their roster. Right now, even with their second option and all-star Jalen Williams sidelined, the Thunder have about 9 players who are legitimate starting caliber guys, essentially 2 starting units on the same team. While most teams may fall into a slump or struggle to keep their momentum when faced with injuries, the Thunder have a factory line of quality players who can fill the gaps at any moment's notice. But their 16-1 record, as good as it is, doesn't quite capture just how big the disparity is between them and their opponents. There's a handful of teams around the league right now that are exceeding expectations as title contenders. The Spurs, Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, and Pistons. Now, all of these contending teams have good records, but not all wins are built the same. Despite having the same record, the Celtics have outscored their opponents by far more than the Bucks have. The Lakers have the 4th best record in the NBA, but only the 14th best point differential. But it is the Rockets and the Nuggets who have outplayed their opponents more than any other team in the league this season. The Rockets with a point differential of plus 146 and the Nuggets with a plus 165.
Let me guess, the fucking OKC is fucking plus 300 or something. All right, we get it. That's the video.
But of course,
that's the video.
there's the OKC Thunder, who have outscored their opponents by a record-breaking 277 points this season.
Like, you gotta give credit where it's due, but, like, bro, that's, like, what are we talking about? At some point, they gotta slow down, right?
A mile ahead of the next best team and the whole entire league. The Thunder are not just winning games. They are running teams off the court. Last season, OKC won 68 games. They beat teams by a larger margin than any team ever has before. They won a championship, and they came back the next season measurably better at just about every facet of the game. They're deeper, they're smarter, they're less reliant on free throws, and they've built on their chemistry that was established last season. But there's one area in particular that give the Thunder a near insurmountable lead on every other team in the league. Their defense. The Thunder are suffocating teams with their size, their depth, and their athleticism. Their rotation is like a revolving door of active, tough, smart defenders. Teams are never given an opportunity to get on a run or capitalize on bad matchups. When one all-NBA caliber defender goes to the bench, another one pops up in his place. According to estimated defensive plus minus, the Thunder have 5 of the top 15 defenders in the entire league. 5. And they have 7 players sitting in the top 20. And this isn't even factoring in Jalen Williams, their all-NBA defensive star who has yet to suit up this season. If stopping the Thunder from scoring wasn't hard enough, scoring enough points to even compete with them has become the hardest thing in basketball. There's nowhere to hide. Every lineup is switchable, they're active, they're disciplined, they know their roles. This is not a young team winning on talent and pace and scoring. This is a young team that defends like a gritty veteran contender with a defensive profile that has become a recipe for walking its way through the regular season. And this is the part that should really worry the rest of the league. Hot shooting can come and go. Offensive explosions can be random. But a defense this good for this long is not a fluke. It's a system. When the Thunder aren't hitting their shots, they'll just hold you to 42.5 and make sure you aren't either. When they are hitting their shots, well, then you get scores like this. And it's not like it's one or two elite stoppers rising the tides for the rest of the team. Last season, the Thunder put up defensive numbers that made them one of the greatest defensive units of the modern NBA. In fact, they were so good that despite their two best defenders, Alex Caruso and Chet Holmgren, missing out on all defensive teams because of the minimum game requirement, the Thunder still had two players make all defensive teams. This team legitimately has at least 4 all-NBA caliber defenders. But there's one metric that pretty much sums up the historic nature of what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing on defense right now. Relative defensive rating. How many points do the Thunder give up?
Like, if you think about it, like, even though the Warriors, like, that's probably is the biggest thing versus, like, the Warriors team. Like, if you was to put, like, how we compare, like, the greatest teams of all time and stuff like that, like, they do have multiple people that defend, like he's talking about. The defense is, like, actually insane. Like, I'm thinking about, like, prime Warriors right now with Steph, Clay, and KD, Draymond, fucking Iggy, fucking Sean, you know, if you want to, you know, all those, like, 2016, 2017 squad, like, even the record-breaking squad, the 17-9, like, we had a good defensive rating, but we didn't have, like he just pointed out, like, they have multiple players that are all defensive caliber players, and 2 of them made all defensive team. Like, bro, we know we had Iggy, we had Draymond, you know, fucking, you know, David Lee back in the day played some decent defense. Fucking Bogut was solid, you know, but like you said, like, we didn't have no, like, lockdown guards. Like, obviously we got GP2 that's more recent, but like all of our identity revolved around the offensive end. We did have good defensive possessions and played great defense, but that wasn't our identity. That, I genuinely think that's the identity of the Thunder, is their defense. You feel me?
Compared to the league average. It's a metric we can use for comparing defenses across completely different eras without getting lost in pace.
We got Steph Clay and KD, bro. Like, yeah, we have defense with the other guys, you feel me? But our shit is to outscore you, gang. We got 2 of the greatest shooters of all time, and then Kevin Durant, who's unstoppable. You feel me? Like,
rules and style of play. And the Thunder aren't just good. They are putting together the single best defensive season in NBA history. League average defense this year sits at about 115.5 points allowed per 100 possessions. OKC is at 104.1. That's a relative defensive rating of -11.4. By far, the best defense in modern NBA history. For some context, the 2004 Pistons, who are widely regarded as the greatest defensive team the league has ever seen, had a relative defensive rating of -7.5. Duncan Spurs, at their best, hovered around -7 to -8. The 90s Knicks teams that practically tackled anyone that came near the paint were in that same neighborhood. What the Thunder are doing right now is beyond all of them. In an era designed to make defense harder than it's ever been, OKC is lapping the best defenses of all time. Now, all of this stuff, the defense, the scoring, the depth, it's all great indication that this Thunder team is on a crash course with history. However, we are looking at a 16-game sample size. Not quite enough games to assume how this team will fare over the course of an entire season. If that were the case, then a 15-1 record or a 93.8% win rate has them on pace for about 77 wins this season. Of course, we know that's not how this works. Injuries can happen, bad streaks happen, schedules get tougher. But there is a metric by Cleaning the Glass called expected wins that attempts to factor all of this in and project how many games a team will win over the course of a season, not based on how many games they've won, but based on the quality of the team itself.
Oh, like, I know you're going to try to say that they're going to try to beat our record, bro. I already know he's going to say that, man. Like, come on, bro.
When Golden State went on their historic 24-0 start to the season in 2015, this metric was spot on when it projected the Warriors would end the season with about 73 wins, the highest projected total for any team over the last 2 decades.
I know he's gonna do it. I know he's gonna do it. They're not, bro. I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, they're not, bro. I swear to God, bro. No, bro. I swear. Oh, You don't understand how sick to my stomach. Like, bro. If these niggas was to beat our record and then win a chip, bruh. Oh my god. Bro. Oh, I would, bruh. Bro. You know how much that would invalidate our record? Because people would just look at our shit like it don't even matter. If they beat our record and then win it, because we didn't win the championship. We lost to LeBron James. Bruh. Bro. Oh my god, I would be sick.
The projected win total for the OKC Thunder this season? About 74 wins. Statistically on pace for the most dominant regular season of all time. While